Good day, ma'am. Good day, classmates. I'm Janine Katubig, and now I am going to discuss the Module 7 Behaviorism of Ivan Pavlov. So, here are the learning outcomes. At the end of the module, the student must be able to explain the basic principles of behaviorism, make a simple plan applying the primary laws of learning, and determine on how to use rewards in the learning process more effectively. Theory of behaviorism. So it focuses on the study of observable and measurable behavior. It emphasizes that behavior is mostly learned through conditioning and reinforcement, rewards, and punishment. Behaviorism is a psychological theory that emphasizes the study of observable behavior rather than internal mental states like thoughts, feelings, or intentions. According to behaviorism, all behaviors are acquired through interactions with the environment. It focuses on the idea that behavior can be explained through stimuli or environmental events and responses or the organism's reactions to those stimuli. Okay, so in this organizational chart, so under the behaviorism is the classical conditioning by Pavlov and Watson's and connectionism by Thorndike and operant conditioning by Skinner. So under the connectionism is the primary laws, so law of effect, law of exercise, law of readiness. And also the operant conditioning is the reinforcement shaping of behavior. Okay. Ivan Pavlov is a Russian psychologist is well known for his work in classical conditioning or stimulus substitution. Pavlov's most renowned experiment involved meat, a dog, and a bell. Pavlov's experiment. So in his experiment, Ivan Pavlov studied the digestive systems of dogs. He noticed that dogs would begin to salivate or an automatic response not only when food was presented to them, but also when they saw the lab assistant to feed them, or even when they heard footsteps. Pavlov realized that the dogs had learned to associate certain stimuli with food. Terms to know. Number one, stimulus means something that exists in the surroundings or that is presented. Two, response means how the animal responds to the stimulus. Three, condition means refers to the process of forming associations between two stimuli or leading to a learned or conditioned response. To understand Pavlov's theory, you need to know number one, the unconditioned stimulus or the US. Number two, the unconditioned response or the UR. Three, the neutral stimulus or the NS. Four, the conditioned stimulus or the CS. And five, the conditioned responses or the CR. So as you can see the picture or the Pavlov's experiment, so before conditioning, so ringing the bell is the neutral stimulus, cause no response from the dog. Placing food or the unconditioned stimulus. So in front of the dog initiated salivations, it is the unconditioned response. So during the conditioning, so the bell was rung a few seconds before the dog was presented with food. Then after conditioning, the ringing of the bell, which is the conditioned stimulus, alone produced salivation or the conditioned response. So this is the classical conditioning. Okay, to explain it more, so before conditioning, so unconditioned stimulus or the US, which is the food, so it natural triggers salivation in dogs or an automatic unlearned response. Next is the unconditioned response or the UR, which is the salivation, so the natural response to the food. Next is the neutral stimulus or the NS, which is the bell. So the sound of a bell does not cause the dog to salivate, or it's neutral as it has no connection to the food yet. Next is during conditioning. So Pavlov would ring the bell, which is the neutral stimulus, just before presenting food or the unconditioned stimulus to the dogs. So this pairing was repeated several times. So the dog started associating the sound of the bell with the food. So after conditioning, conditioned stimulus or the CS, which is the bell. So after repeated pairings, the bell alone became a stimulus that caused the dog to salivate. And the conditioned response or the CR, which is the salivation, now the dog salivates at the sound of the bell even without food being presented. Okay, to summarize, so first, before conditioning, food is the US, so causes salivation is the UR, so the bell or the NS does not cause salivations. So next, during conditioning, so the bell is the NS, is paired with food or the US several times. So after conditioning, so the bell alone or the CS causes salivations or CR, so even though food is no longer presented. Okay, another example or example in real life. So imagine you have a pet cat that always get excited when it hears the sound of a can opener because it knows that it's about to be fed. So first is before conditioning. So the sound of the can opener or the NS or the neutral stimulus does not cause the cat to get excited. So the sight of food or the unconditioned stimulus makes the cat excited or the unconditioned response. So next, during conditioning, so every time the can opener is used, food is given to the cat. So next, after conditioning, eventually just hearing the sound of the can opener or the conditioned stimulus makes the cat excited or the conditioned response, even if no food is immediately present. So in both cases, the bell and the can opener sound were initially neutral but became associated with food, causing a conditioned response or salivation or excitement. Classical conditioning, also known as Pavlovian or respondent conditioning. So it refers to a learning procedure in which a biologically potent stimulus or the food is paired with a previously neutral stimulus or a bell. Pavlov also had the following findings. So first is the stimulus generalization. So means once the dog has learned to salivate at the sound of the bell, so it will salivate at the other similar sounds. Next is the extinction. So if you stop pairing the bell with the food, so salivation will eventually cease in response to the bell. So third is the spontaneous recovery. So extinguished responses can be recovered after an elapsed time but will soon extinguish again if the dog is not presented with food. Next is the discrimination, which means the dog could learn to discriminate between similar bells or stimuli and discern which bell would result in the presentation of food and which would not. Next is the higher order conditioning, means once the dog has been conditioned to associate the bell with food, so another unconditioned stimulus, such as light, may be flashed at the same time that the bell is rung. So eventually, the dog will salivate at the flash of the light without the sound of the bell. Okay, so that will be all. Thank you for listening.